Hello Internet, my name is Zori and welcome to I procrastinated this video so hard that VivziePop released the whole music video when this project was based off of this GIF. So, please leave your shame in the comments and let's start this project off with a little story. So I was on Twitter, which is already considered a bad move, when I saw this GIF, and the first thought I have to myself is, holy shit, this would make a fantastic stained glass window. Now, the first video I ever made was a faux stained glass Gengar, and I don't want to be reusing ideas a few months into my channel. So while I was at work icing some donuts looking at this picture of Jesus my boss has by a window, when I realized I wonder if I could make a stained glass lamp. And then I proceed to make a bunch of dumb decisions on how to make this, which starts with the artwork. So I had a couple of poses to pick out of this GIF, and it was either this one where Angel looks really strong and determined, or this one where he looks kind of sad and depressed. And at this point, the music video wasn't out, and based on what we know about Angel from the pilot, I picked the sad one. To me, it seemed like he was more sad than confident, and after watching the music video, I really appreciate this choice. Now, Vivzie's already done the work for me. This already looks super great as a stained glass window, but I want it to look cool even when it's not turned on. And instead of just using like an all one color background, which either would have been like a sheer pink or purple or something, I decided to add rainbows. Rainbows make everything look cooler. So the materials I originally planned on using for this was this picture frame, some LED lights, I got the ones that change color just in case it's not colorful enough, and then some poster board for the back. And what I'm going to use to cut Angel out of. I could use the puff paint, which I'm going to use for the lines like I did in my other video, but I feel like it would look very strange and it's kind of hard to get that to be flat and level. But do not do poster board. It is a horrible mistake. I know it's only like $3 for a huge sheet of poster board. Just don't do it, and we'll get to why in a second. But first things first, you gotta get a template. I just made one out of 2 pieces of printer paper taped together. I mean, you could really make this any size that you wanted. I just wanted it to be nice and large. So you could cut this out on your Cricut if you have the super long mat, but I don't, so I just end up using an X-Acto knife, which is super easy. But you know what's not super easy to cut out with an X-Acto knife? This freaking poster board. It took me 2 hours to cut it out, and halfway through it broke my X-Acto knife. To be fair, these are my stepdad's very old X-Acto knives, but still. And in the end, the dots under Angel's eyes were too small to cut out with the X-Acto knife that I had. And at this point, I'm trying to think of how I can fix this. I really want an Angel Dust pole dancing lamp, and I'm gonna get one. And after about a 2-week break, I remember that clay exists. I haven't used it since high school, but it's perfect for this. And if I mess up cutting out holes, I could just re-flatten it out and reuse it. Now, I made this YouTube channel to get myself to be creative again, but I feel like it's just kind of become an excuse for me to buy a whole bunch of crafting junk I don't need. And after buying some clay and a little pack of tools from Michaels, I'm feeling pretty good. Until I get home and realize I don't have anything to flatten this out with. For those who have never used polymer clay, it's only a little softer than a brick. You really have to beat the crap out of it to make it flat. And that's a very uneven flat. And after stepping on it for a while, I finally got it to go flat enough for me to finish rolling it out with this thing of Cricut vinyl. Next, it's time to cut it out. And this was a lot easier. I do end up switching to a knife nobody uses, and while I like to cut towards myself for maximum danger, I would suggest you not do that, if for some reason you want to make this. And while Past Me cuts this out, I wanted to take some time to talk about Hazbin Hotel. The music video for Addiction just came out, and made me remember how much I want more of this show. If somehow VivziePop finds her way to this video, I want her to know how much I appreciate her work. Besides the awesome character designs and sick animation, I mean these expressions. As someone who went and gave up on animation school, seeing good animation will always get extra points from me. And I'm not even gonna start on how excited I am for the plot and more dope musicals. The thing that I really love the most is that it's for an older audience. I'm so tired of Family Guy and South Park ripoffs, which, let's be fair, I'm pretty sure more 13-year-olds watch these shows than adults. They're all boring to look at, and if I were to explain one episode of one of these adult shows to you, you wouldn't be able to get which one I was talking about, because they're all the same show with different levels of gross. And while some of the cartoons coming out these days can definitely handle some more adult themes, there was never going to be an episode of Steven Universe with the drug-addicted sex abuse victim. I'm sure that there are some non-animated shows that take this stuff seriously, but you can do so much more with animation that does not translate well into live TV. Examples being every live-action anime movie ever. So for me, to you, thanks for the work you're putting in this. Just making an anime show for kids is hard, but making an animated show for adults with real-life issues has gotta be a nightmare. And not just production-wise. So to end this speech, I'll say a little prayer to the great art god above. Please, great creator, keep VivziePop and her team healthy physically and mentally during these very psychotic times. Please bless her with the money to create and the desire to want to, and I hope her fans never become toxic and that her haters can become fans. Also, please keep inspiring other people to make content about the show because that's been great. Amen. Sorry, that really turned into a rant, didn't it? Okay, so I'm looking at this and it's a little uneven, but Angel is looking hot as hell. And he's about to become hot as hell because we're going to bake his ass. And I don't mean with drugs. So it says to bake him at 275 Fahrenheit for 20 minutes. And for those idiots who don't read the directions, I'm talking to you. It says that the clay won't get hard until after it cools. So I left him in there for about an hour. He got a little toasty on the sides. Luckily, I'm going to paint him black so you won't see it. If you're wondering why I didn't get black clay, it's because the art stores close to me didn't have any. And by close to me, I mean an hour away. I'm stuck in a very tiny town. The nearest Walmart is 30 minutes away, and those things are everywhere. But I did pick up some outdoor paint. I wasn't sure if the LEDs would dull the paint like the sun does. I was a bit worried that the resin was going to absorb into the clay, so this should prevent that from happening. And if you're wondering why I didn't spray paint it, and I told you at the beginning I was going to make dumb decisions in making this. Now after he's nice and dry, it's time to put him on the glass. To do this, I use a 2-part clear resin. I like Amazing Clear Cast, but there's a bunch of different kinds of resin you can use. And well, that cures for 24 to 48 hours, so let's start on the light box. So the first thing I do for this is to cut off the supports of the picture frame so they don't get in the way of my light. I use the poster board for the back, but if you make this, do not. This poster board is like my enemy. Just get a piece of wood or a piece of plastic or something. I'll show you why in a second. But first I cut a little notch in the board to glue my LED connector to. For some stupid reason I cut one in the middle, but I soon realized that that won't work and I cut one on the side where I know my socket is by the table I plan on putting this on. Not going to lie, I felt like an electrician messing with these lights, even though all you have to do is plug in the connectors. But next I glue the board to the back of the picture frame. 2 things to note at this point. I should have used nails or screws or something so I could have removed the back if I ever needed to. And next thing, please wear gloves when you're screwing with super glue because I got it on my fingers and that shit does not come off. Next, it's time to put on the lights. And this really got me excited. And it starts off pretty good until the poster board comes back to haunt me in the form of ripping every time I try to maneuver the lights. So once they're down, there's really nothing I can do about it. But for my first time messing with LEDs, they're pretty cool. I'm gonna have to do something else with them. But my high comes crashing down pretty quickly when I realize that I don't have enough to finish. And at this moment, you can see me thinking that maybe I can get away with not finishing the side, and it's a nope. This would drive me insane, so back to the store I go. I only needed one more strip to finish the box, so at least now I have some extras to do a different project with. And with that, the light box is done, and it wasn't even really super hard if I'd have used something different at the back. But now we can go ahead and jump back to the glass, which is done curing and looking pretty good, except I made another stupid choice in putting styrofoam bowls to hold up the glass while it cured, and some of it got stuck to the bottom. Luckily, it comes off pretty easy. Also, I didn't level my table, and there are a couple of parts where the resin slid off, but it's all going to be rainbow resined over later, so you won't even notice it. But before that, we have to draw the spider web and the heart. I'm using some pink puff paint for the lines. I had a hard time choosing between the pink or the black paint. If this was really stained glass, it obviously couldn't be pink, but it's not, and I might as well embrace the medium I'm using. And I really want this lamp to be super colorful when it's not turned on. This doesn't take too long to ink, though my template was a little crooked. I did try and correct it, but it's still a little bit off center. That won't bother me, but it's a good thing nobody watches these videos, because if someone with OCD saw this, they'd go crazy. But I let the paint dry for about a week, not because it needed it, but because I ended up working a lot during the 4th. And also I got addicted to RimWorld. Anyway, this is really starting to come together. And it's time for my favorite part, coloring in the lines. I use UV resin for this part, and damn is it satisfying to watch sped up. And I usually would put some music over this part, but I think I'll make it exactly 5 minutes and 25 seconds, just in case there's a song that you may want to listen to that may have a link in the descriptions, so enjoy that. Well, that was an awesome freaking song. Thanks to Sylvia for writing it. Thanks to Michael and Chi-Chi for singing it. Thanks to Vivzy and the team for animating it. I mean, just applause and high fives all around. Alistair is still my favorite, but I'd be a lying hoe if I didn't admit that I was super excited to see where Angel's story goes. I hope someone makes a workout video to this song, but back to the craft. It's done! And I gotta say, I'm pretty damn proud of myself for this. I did switch the teal and the green accidentally somehow. I don't know how that happened. And I really don't know what happened to this pink. If I hadn't run out of UV resin, I would have fixed it. I don't like it being so sheer, especially because I decide to leave the middle of the heart clear. I really like the way that it looks like stage lights in the background. If I get some more UV resin, I'll probably fix it. I mean, how many people can say they have an angel pole dancing lamp? Not even the girl who created it has one of these. I mean, unless she wants one. But I've had it sitting by my bedside table for a few days now because editing is the bane of my existence. But every time I walk in my room and see it, I love it a little bit more. I honestly wasn't expecting this to turn out at all with how many mistakes I made. But now anytime Angel can make my room bright in any color that I want, and when he's not, he looks like a monster casting a spell, which is what I told my mom this was supposed to be. Not that she's against strippers or pole dancing. She already thinks every anime is just a porn, and I really don't want to feed into that more than anime already does for itself. But if you made it this far, you're a liar. Nobody watches these, and I'm okay with that. But really, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time when I pick a much easier project. Bye-bye!